Hi folks, 10 Fusion 360 tips and tricks I hope you didn't know. We had a job that we thought was going to be aluminum and the customer switched it to Delrin. I thus didn't want flood coolant anymore, I wanted air blast. If you've got a bunch of operations, I don't want to have to go into each one, edit, and adjust the coolant. Compare and edit is your friend. It's amazing. Click on the first operation, hold down Shift, and click on the last operation. I've got them all selected. Now I can right click on any of them and I'll choose compare and edit. When that shows up, I can just go down here to this search menu and I can type coolant and look, all of these are listed as flood. I can edit all, so you can see here this is each of the operation in each column. You can scroll across to see the rest of them. They're all flood right now. I want them all to be air blast, so just click on air and they all just updated. No need to deal with going into each one. Wireframe is one of my favorite things, toggling between the view I have here and Wireframe. It lets you look at cam toolpaths, it lets you look at drill depths. It's just a very useful thing, but I really dislike the way you have to go into this display settings, visual, I don't even remember anymore, visual style, and choose this list here. Go download this plugin, link in the video description. My one complaint about this plugin is I wish I could customize it to only have these two, because all I ever use is shaded with visible and wireframe. It's so nice to toggle between the two like this. Managing tool libraries, tip number 3. It's such an important thing to do to get good cam, to have confidence in what you're doing, and as you sort of balance yourself between Fusion and actually using the CNC machine and making parts. We did a whole separate video card here where we go into some best practices on tool libraries, but I really want to emphasize it's easy to ignore it. It's easy to say, oh, this is frustrating, it gets junky. Go watch that video. Do a better job of managing your tool library. On that note, one of the things, I'm not even sure I have a part open right now that'll be a good example, but when you're in, if you click on the tool library, sometimes what happens is in your part, you'll have a lot of extra tools. So here's an example. Right now, see how tool 30 doesn't have any operations associated with it? This is something that I feel like Fusion doesn't always do a great job of, which is it's easy to contaminate the tool library within your part file. Let's see if this one has it as well. Yeah, so I'm not using this version. Perfect example. There's two different tool 3 here. Both are shear hogs, but one of them is used for the adaptive. The other one, I don't even know why it's in there. Same thing with tool 31. It's great to clean this up. Right click, remove unused tools, boom, done. S key on the keyboard, another unused but awesome thing. Hit S, everything pops up. I can type adaptive, and now without going to my mouse, because the mouse is the enemy, it's almost as bad as a space mouse. But without doing that, I can hop into anything. And you'll notice S key is workspace specific. So here it brings up the cam toolbox. So I could even type post. Boom, I don't even have to use my mouse to go to post. When you're in CAD, S key revolve brings up my revolve. Another little bonus point is you can customize this menu right here. So let's say I want to put in a drilling op. If I let's see, how do I do that actually? Oh yeah, here we go. Drill, click that, and it now pops right here. Now the downside is that is something where you're using your mouse, so I'm not a huge fan of that. I like S because it lets me immediately type and get to where I want to go. Let's say, I was talking to my buddy Ken about this one. Let's say you want to look at the distance. This is a 2D contour cleanup pass along these slots, and let's say I want to know what's the distance between these two blue lines. Now those are the control path for the tool, so it's not where the tools, the edge of the tool is cutting. If we look at the simulation, you'll see the tool will be cutting here. I'll orient it this way. And that's on the left side, so let's see here if I get rid of the, make it transparent, there we go. Oh, here's another bonus tip. See how when I do that, I lose my part? Like I go like this, sometimes it's off screen. Double click your middle mouse wheel and it brings it on center. Okay, so that's the left one. And now I can click the right one. So there's, you can see that's what it looks like. But let's just say for some reason I want to know the distance between these two blue lines. I wish there was a good way to do this. The only way that I know of is you are able to click on certain points. So if I click here, and let's look at my orientation. So this is important. So the part is being held the y-axis. So I want to look at the distance in y. Do you see that? The y is right here. So what's the distance between in y only between this point and that point? Well, when I click on that point, if I go to Info on the simulation pop-up, Y position is 0.266 and a whole bunch of decibels. Y position here is 0.283. So 0.283 minus 0.266, I can say those are 17 thou apart. Not the best way to do that, or not the easiest way, especially if you have to do a bunch of data, but I'll tell you, if you need to know it, that's the way to get it done. This is the cam from actually this week's Wednesday widget on making the Versa grips. So sometimes when you open a Fusion file, you've lost all of your toolpath generation, all these red exclamation points. Sometimes it happens if you just switch between model and cam. So you can right click on each one of these and go to generate toolpath, but sometimes here I've got 1, 2, 3, only 3, not that bad, but we've got some that have a lot of setups. You can't right click on setup, unfortunately. Here at the top there's no option to generate all, but what they don't tell you is if you just take a look, if you right click on an operation, you can see this Control plus G is the keyboard shortcut to generate toolpath. We'll take a look. Click on setups, hit Control G on your keyboard. It's going to go through and generate all my setups at once. Big time saver in my opinion. We made this railroad part, actually card here. It's a part we did on the Haas, and it turned out great, but we really struggled with some of the cam. And one of the things that was frustrating was some of the adaptive toolpaths took a really long time to calculate. If that happens, one of the things that you want to do is reduce your tolerance. So the fourth tab called passes, see this tolerance? Every time you reduce that, say from 2 to 1000, it forces the computation behind the Fusion 360 CAM kernel to do a lot more work. So loosen that tolerance up, you're going to get a much faster toolpath. And even if you want to tighten it back down later, loosen it up, say to 8000s, just to see what your toolpath looks like. That way you get a cheap, quick, free preview, and then if you like it, go drive it back down and let the toolpath calculate. When you do run it, my understanding is you need the stock to leave, especially radial, to be greater than your tolerance. Otherwise, you risk gouging the part because it's going to create an adaptive toolpath subject to this tolerance. So it's going to cheat by that amount. So you want to make sure you still have enough stock to leave that you don't gouge in. Hope that makes sense. On that note, this one was a pretty long toolpath. That's why I protected it. That way, if I hop into CAD or if I reopen this part, it doesn't ever require me to regenerate it. I did that with just this protect button. But let's turn that off and let's do that annoying process of clear toolpath. And now I want to generate this toolpath. So I'll just hit Control G on it to generate it. You are not protected. Cancel. Here we go. I'll just right click it. So sometimes when you're doing this, you have no idea if it's actually working. You can't always, if you find the toolpath, you can sometimes see it visually being created, but here I don't even see it. And sometimes it gets hung on this 80%. So here, now it's starting to show up. So you can see it's kind of going along. But we've had some adaptive toolpaths that take 20, 30 minutes to calculate, and it just sits at 80%. And you're like, is it frozen or do I wait? Here's a little trick. Expand the arrow and watch the data size. See how that's incrementing up in kilobytes? That's a much finer increment than this 80%, and that's a good way to see, hey, I'll leave you alone, you're still calculating, the world is at peace, I'm okay. When we were machining the chamfer on the back of our Carve Smart dovetail for these Versa grips, if you take a look at this chamfer op, the geometry selection, when I hover over this edge, it selects the whole box, and that's annoying. And there's a way to fix it after you pick it, but here's a better way. Hold down the Alt key on your keyboard, and now it lets you pick individual line segments without having to do that ridiculous process where you click it down, let up, select Open Contour, click the green plus, and now you've accepted it. Hogwash. Hold down Alt key, click on whatever you want, you're good to go. Folks, hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something. We love Fusion. It's fun to always pick out new tips and tricks. If you've got good ones, let me know. I'm always curious to hear and learn more as well. We're making this platter right now today for our Haas 5th axis. I cannot wait to hop into some of the Swarf and multi-axis true 5-axis toolpath, which is just mind-blowingly awesome. So super excited. Take care, folks. Enjoy your weekend. See you soon.